that can set up your offense. You don't even have to go against the other team in the half-court situation. 10 points off of turnovers in the early stages of this game, and Notre Dame's got to figure it out.
So up and down action, but favoring the Bulldogs in the early going. We want to remind you that Friday night, the HTC Big East SEC Challenge begins with a doubleheader. And we got 4 ranked teams on ESPN Friday at 7 Eastern. Florida, Syracuse at 9 Eastern. Vanderbilt and Louisville at HTC Big East SEC Challenge.
Great week of college basketball. Great games seemingly every single day this week. Top 25 teams going against one another. A great portion of the season.
This game a rematch of a contest last year. Notre Dame, a 27-win team last year, played at home against Gonzaga and beat the Bulldogs in a very competitive, spirited game. Now playing at the Kennel, where it is rocking tonight. Atkins turns it over again. Now Gary Bell through traffic. The freshman. Carter up top. And really had nowhere to go with the ball. Tries to rip it back. It'll be a jump ball. And the arrow favors Gonzaga. Well, Notre Dame, they got some things to work on. We'll talk about something that could help when we come back. Well, nicely done inside the play from Sean Farnham. Sean, I think it's safe to say Notre Dame has not done very much of that in the early going.
They have not been able to accomplish really anything at the offensive end of the floor without having to go completely one-on-one. You get ball reversal, find some open looks out on the perimeter, get a skip pass, make the defense work. One pass in the offense and a shot on this possession.
And Scott Martin commits another turnover. I mean, this is really shocking. Notre Dame, a team that prides itself on offensive execution, taking care of the ball. They have 9 turnovers in 8+ minutes.
And they are 0 for 7 from the field outside of Grant, who's 2 for 3 from the field. So you're limited as far as who your scoring options are right now. You're turning the ball over, and that's what creates a 10-point margin in the first 9 minutes of play.
And it sure does feel like the Fighting Irish are missing Tim Abramitis here tonight. Martin does a good job of diving down for the ball, and Sam Dowers had a rough start to this game. The arrow this time favors Notre Dame.
The numbers for Abramitis, who's tore his ACL at practice, and you see where it ranks as far as Big East players returning this year. A 5th-year senior, a veteran, a great role model as far as being a student athlete, already received his diploma and then his master's degree. You hate to see something come to an end like that after such a great career.
Yeah, a guy who has worked hard in the classroom, on the court, made himself a better player. His Notre Dame career is likely over, and the Fighting Irish have to figure out a way to get it done without Abramitis. Jaron Grant for 3, airballs it.
And no ball reversal action. The ball stayed on one side of the court. It's easy for the defense to get built-in rebounding position.
And that was pretty easy for Robert Sacre.
All of the things that Mike Gray told us today at shoot-around, his team is not executing with today. He said he wanted them to work early in the defensive possession, not allow Robert Sacre to get deep in the paint. He's done that a couple of times. He wanted ball reversal action for his team on offense. They're not getting that accomplished either.
And almost it is another turnover, because that'll be a foul against Notre Dame.
We talked about ball reversal and how key it is. We go back to that last possession. Here's that middle line. The ball never, ever crosses the middle portion of the court. And when you allow the defense to do that, you have help side defense rotating over. It's not difficult long runouts for your opponent, and you come up with empty possessions.
Well, Mike Gray, one of the better offensive coaches in all of college basketball, looks very frustrated. 18-6 lead for Gonzaga.
This environment and this team in particular this year, this Gonzaga roster, they can make you frustrated.
Gary Bell for 3.
Very young out top, but with Pangos and Bell, as this season progresses, they're going to continue to get better and better, and I think that's the scariest aspect of this Gonzaga Bulldog team.
21-6. Jaron Grant, he's been the offense, couldn't finish. And the rebound wrestled away by Gonzaga. Looking to attack still. Bell really feeling confident in the early going. Offensive foul.
Maybe a little too overconfident on that possession, but the previous possession, Elias Harris fumbles the ball a little bit to kick out. Nobody in front of him. A great job just dialing it up, and you can stretch the defense. And we talk about the interior presence of Harris, Dower, and Sacre underneath, but if you can shoot the ball well from the outside, and this freshman class that Mark Few has brought in can certainly do that. When you look at a guy like Pangos and Bell, you have some matchup issues.
A little teaching moment for the young Gary Bell Jr. on the bench. Home court advantage big right now. Nice move, though, by Alex Dragovic to lay one in. Pangos quickly to the other end, and he scores with the left hand. Didn't take long for an answer. Gonzaga shooting the ball so well. When they take care of it, don't turn it over. The Bulldog shots are going in. Martin from the right wing, way too strong. Atkins saves it off of Pangos.
Gonzaga has struggled at times in the early portion of this season, really getting after it on the defensive end of the floor with great consistency, but this has been very impressive with how they've been able to crawl up in Notre Dame and just frustrate them.
Aaron Grant down the lane. Grant, offensive foul.
And yet another turnover for Notre Dame.
The freshman Pangos, he's playing well defensively in this one.
Mark Few and his coaching staff yesterday at practice, today at shoot around, talking about the commitment to the defensive end of the floor. And for this team to take the next step and become even that much more powerful this season, they need to stay and remain committed to the defensive end of the floor, and they need to bring their freshmen along as fast as possible. Talking about being there on the catch. Every time Notre Dame has caught the ball so far, a Gonzaga Bulldog player has been standing right in front of them.
Entry pass was not a great one, but Sacre found a way to keep it in bounds. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for Marquise Carter and his Gonzaga Bulldogs. High screen from Sacre. Pangos, nice little pass fake.
He's just a freshman, but every now and then he's got that little veteran-type flair to his game.
Bulldogs blowing this game wide open. Martin, another three try, and he still cannot connect. In transition, the trailer, Harris, trying to dish pass, not a real good one.
That's a sloppy look underneath by Harris.
Atkins, no good on the three, and the rebound just right through the hands of Tom Knight. Merninghoff to Pangos to Sacre. Carter, floater, no good. Elias Harris scoops it up, had his shot rejected.
It was kind of settling down a little bit the offensive end of the floor for Gonzaga, but it hasn't mattered yet because Notre Dame can't buy a basket. They can't buy a basket, and they continually turn it over.
And Mark Few wants a timeout. His team's up 25-8, but I think he noticed a couple guys were looking fatigued out there on the court, so he'll get a couple of substitutes in, reset on the sideline. But Coach Few has to be real pleased with the way this game is going so far.
Pleased with the way this one going. Up 25-8 right now, executing in every facet of the game. Defensively, creating turnovers, rebounding, doing all that they can to be successful.
Well, it's been quite an interesting start, Sean, to the college basketball season. What stood out to you?
I think the Power 6 Conference takes some difficult losses. You know, you take a look at Central Florida knocking off UConn, UNLV knocking off North Carolina. I think the WCC from top to bottom has had some real nice wins over Villanova, UCLA, St. Louis, LMU knocking off St. Louis, the team we saw at the 76 Classic. And then the star power, Solinger, Barnes off to great starts. Perry Jones returned to the college game last night, and he looked sensational for Baylor. And of course, Coach K and his passing of Coach Knight as the all-time winningest coach in Division I history.
A lot of excitement already, and we're really just getting started with this college basketball season. Another really nice pass from Pangos. Harris is having a hard time close to the basket tonight, which is unusual for him. Harris sets the screen for Pangos. Found a little opening. That three was way short, though. Mike Hart hustle play.
That's why Mike Hart is out on the floor. That's why Mike Hart is getting the opportunity to start. When you have young perimeter players, you sometimes need to settle it down with a veteran presence that just gets it at the defensive end.
Harris loves that shot fake. This time rebound for Jack Cooley in Notre Dame.
We'll go back to Hart. Hart is one of those guys. He'll take charges. He'll dive on the floor for loose balls. He'll secure you an extra possession as he did on that last look down. And he's kind of the ultimate glue guy, as Mark Hughes said yesterday at practice to me.
Cooley on the perimeter. He's not much of an offensive threat. Scott Connaughton, the freshman, perfect on the three.
Finally got good ball reversal in the half-court set. They finally knocked down a shot. They had won for their last 8 prior to that one.
Pat Connaughton, a freshman who is also going to play baseball at Notre Dame. Great all-around athlete. Mike Bray thinks he can be a real top-level basketball player. Gonzaga still with a big lead. Alley-oop kind of pass, and Ryan Spangler, freshman from Oklahoma, scores.
Spangler's got great size to him underneath, and they're bringing him along. They're actually redshirting Kelly Olynyk, who last year played pivotal minutes for Gonzaga. And part of that reason is because of Spangler, but what a great pass by Carter. Soft touch.
A whistle and a foul against Elias Harris. Harris is arguing, but to no avail. Gonzaga off to the great start. 27-11, they lead.
It has been all Gonzaga here early against Notre Dame, and a big portion of their offense coming from down low in the paint. And they're just not matching the physical nature of this front court for the Bulldogs. Robert Sacre able to get too deep in their sets, and then what that does is it opens up things out on the perimeter. When you have to concentrate your defense so much underneath, you start finding looks on the outside, and it's been a very rough start for the Irish and a great one for the Zags with their ability to enforce their will on this game.
Bonus time for Notre Dame, so maybe the Fighting Irish can make up some points at the line, or maybe not. Just absolutely nothing going right for Mike Bray's team right now. Dragovich in off the bench. Eric Atkins on the sideline, and they're going to call another foul against Gonzaga. Another chance for Notre Dame at the free throw line.
For Notre Dame, you've got 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Ideally, what you'd like to do is see if you can get this lead about 8 going to the break. If you can cut this lead in half in the next 4:45, then you've accomplished a great deal, because there's been no signs that they could do that up till now. But at the free throw line, you can't miss front ends of one-on-one back-to-back times.
That's what Notre Dame did on that possession. Pangos, the freshman from Ontario, Canada. Down low, Harris misses the shot. Rebound Fighting Irish. Martin spins back, misses the layup. You just don't expect this from the Notre Dame offense. No look from Carter, but Spangler comes up short.
Spangler should have jump stopped on that one, gathered himself and gone up.
Connaughton, another three, and he's 2 for 2 in these last couple of minutes. The freshman Pat Connaughton.
Nice spark off the bench. And both looks, though, have been wide open, uncontested shots.
Nobody stopped Marquise Carter. That was virtually uncontested.
Poor defense, no help side. The back line of the defense has to rotate over, and on that play, Atkins should have pinched in.
Dragovich switched to the left hand. Spangler rebound and the outlet to Pangos. Harris running the floor. Pangos swings it around to David Stockton. Harris from near the free throw line.
Harris does look a lot better. You mentioned it a year ago. He separated his shoulder in one of those early scrimmages, and then he tweaked his Achilles on the tip-off marathon. You and I were here against San Diego State, and the rest of the season he just didn't have that same kind of bounce to his game. And this year he was able to stay here on campus. He didn't play with the German national team, and because of that, I think he's in better shape. I think he's better prepared to step back up and emerge like he did his freshman year. His rebounding numbers are back up. His shooting percentage is back up. Elias Harris, a big part to any success that the